So today we're going to be looking at ticker symbol BABA for BABA group, and what sort of price action we can sort of expect for the next couple of for the trading day of today and the next couple of days, and to see what sort of resistance lines we will be hitting for BABA, and what's sort of price action we can expect. So if you're looking to trade BABA, you can see right now we've already marked out the resistance lines. 223 seems to be a nice resistance for BABA for the next couple of days, weeks, and if it is able to support this resistance, we could see nice movement upwards within the stock, reaching out for the next resistance of 269 and 82 cents. All in all, the stock has retraced from its highs of was this what, $300 of his high off of, no, it's a little bit lower, around $309 just before the crash that we had last month. So since then we've seen a little bit of a correction moving down in the downwards direction, but all in all, a price correction of around $60 to $70 in the last couple of weeks. And if you are looking to trade BABA, then these prices will be very helpful to you to sort of figure out what price is best to get into the stock of BABA. So if we're looking at right now at the daily chart, let's zoom in a little bit more just to get a nice view of our resistance lines. Zoom this a little bit out right over here, and as you can see, we've just recently touched 223.49 on the resistance. If we are to break this, then we could see a test of the lower resistance of $210 if it does break out of this. Let's go ahead and see the overall trend for BABA over the last 6 months, or we'll actually zoom out just in the last couple of no, not even here, let's see the last 3 months. Zoom this out completely, and let's bring everything a little bit closer together to get a nicer view of this stock. Zoom out, so we're gonna go 6 months. Let's go to the 1 year. There we go. This is a lot cleaner, as we can now sort of manage the overall trend for this stock. So let's go ahead and put in an arrow, and hopefully if it does, if the stock does manage to stay above this yellow line, possibly retrace, touching it, try to get as many points as possible. So this seems like a good indication of how the stock might move in the next couple of days. This yellow line is key because it tells us what sort of support lines BABA might be touching in the next couple of days. If we are to see this stock, we might see a trail sort of bounce off of this yellow line and then trail upwards, testing the new highs or the new resistance of 269, which it hasn't done in a couple of weeks. And if we are to see this break the yellow resistance, then we could see a test of this $210, and possibly if it continues to break that 210 resistance, then we will have to go back and reevaluate our thesis to evaluate how this price action will affect the stock price of BABA. Let's jump in and see if we can find any good news regarding BABA, and we'll be also looking at the RSI. Let's go ahead and look at the RSI before we jump into BABA's news. So overall, RSI seems to be nice, in a nice nice, not in the undersold or in the overbought territory, sort of trailing in the middle. So we could still see some nice price action upwards before we see some retracement back down, just because we haven't really touched that oversold area on the RSI. let's go ahead and jump into the news and see what sort of information we can collect to really make our thesis a lot stronger on Baba's stock. We're gonna jump into Google and we'll just look at the first few headlines. Baba. So let's go ahead and see the news. Baba stock, EABA. So there has been some negative news regarding Chinese companies which are now required to be audited by U.S. companies as well. So we saw that sort of Chinese companies also go through that growth correction in the last couple of days. Alibaba stock over 6% pre-market explanation. Alibaba stock has way bigger problems than the delisting threat. So let's go ahead because there was some negative news regarding Jack Ma and his comments regarding the Communist Party of China, and then we sort of saw Jack Ma sort of disappear out of public eye for a couple of weeks, and so there seems to be, according to investors, place some sort of threat. Unfairly, investor colleague Wayne is believing that a delisting of Alibaba by the New York, which I highly doubt. I think Alibaba is such a big company and it's had such a large holding that it would be very unlikely to see this stock being delisted. But this is one individual's critique of the stock. And because Baba is one of the three biggest companies in China, I don't expect this to be delisted at all from the New York Stock Exchange. But the reality of whose money will be far fewer. So we'll go into some more news. Charlie Munger just bought Alibaba. So Charlie Munger is also a very well-known investor who has also increased his holdings on Baba Group and distributed shares. He still owns around 3.6% of the company. Is entering make it or break it time. This was 1 week ago. Alibaba's chip arm helps it maintain. So they are very heavily invested and a diversified company. They're in very different areas of tech. And there were some fears last week regarding Alibaba and its delisting, but I think this will just sort of cleanse out in the next couple of weeks. All in all, there is some negative news, but then again, the price is moving slightly higher. We can look at to the antitrust for Baba. Let's go ahead and see. Economic data releases for China reaffirm the recovery is on track, leading the forecast of China's GDP based on PPP to jump above a 1/5 share of the world. China has responded very well to Corona, and their economy has been opening very quickly and making it very good for a business environment. And Baba is one of the biggest players in China, which will be taking full advantage and has been taking advantage of the reopening of China's economy very, very, strongly. At the risk of being labeled several positives from the release of penalty from kept mounting. So there seems to be some sort of regulatory actions on Alibaba Group. So this will probably outplay in the next couple of days and we'll get a better idea. But all in all, there's not much negative news regarding Baba Group. So we could end up testing those new levels. It might even be possible for this stock to sort of trail within this 269 and 223 region for a couple of days. And if it maintains or consolidates within this zone, this will also be very healthy for the stock. So hopefully this was useful to you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want me to check out any companies or analyze any companies which which you guys would want me to do, and I'll try to get those companies out as well as soon as possible. All right, thanks and have a good one.